Had a running with the law, huh? I could've coached you. Now your name is hot, huh? So your clients ghost you. How the feds track all your movements? I could've told you. Engineered my whole shit. Ain't talking Pro Tools. These dumb niggas love to talk. We spit no fools. Say you snitched on accident. You little hoe, you. I bet they had you scared in there. Shaking in your boots. Them devils used some trickery on you and got the whole truth. What's up, black people? Welcome to another unlawful arrest prevention video. This video cracks off right away, and I want to get into it without too much delay, so we'll save our usual longer introduction for the end of the video today. Before we get started though, understand this. On this channel we analyze crowdsourced videos of traffic stops and arrests in order to educate black people on the ways that law enforcement officers may break legal protocol.
Watching videos of traffic stops and arrests helps us see the tactics and tricks that cops most often use to execute the unlawful arrest of a black person. By understanding their strategies and the ways they target the people they believe are most vulnerable in society, we can develop our own strategies, which allow us to punish them financially by bringing civil rights lawsuits and winning large payouts.
Now in this video, the victim of police misconduct does everything right in order to later bring a successful lawsuit. However, he did not hire a competent attorney, and so his lawsuit was dismissed. At the end of the video, we will discuss how to avoid hiring an attorney like this, and therefore preventing your lawsuit from getting thrown out of court.
Before we get into it, as always, we got 3 disclaimers. 1. I am not an attorney. Please contact an attorney if you have an urgent legal matter. If you need help finding an attorney in your area, please submit a claim through unlawfularrestprevention.org, and we will do our best to help you find representation. 2. Unlawful arrest prevention and any videos associated with it are not for the criminally minded and are intended to help ensure legal recourse for citizens who become the victims of a civil rights violation. 3. Never, under any circumstances, tell a police officer that you are going to sue him during the course of a traffic stop or an arrest.
Now, we're gonna let the video play out, but here's the setting. We're in a quiet part of Pensacola, Florida. The police officer gets behind the driver and puts his lights on. The police officer claims that the driver didn't have his seatbelt on, and that was the initial reason for putting on his lights to initiate a traffic stop. Now, it takes the driver a minute to pull over. The police officer claims the driver was fleeing, and so he immediately draws his weapon when the driver stops. However, the driver did not exceed 5 miles per hour, and he stopped at every stop sign. The victim here claimed that he was simply driving to an area where he felt comfortable pulling over for the traffic stop.
Get out of the vehicle now! Get out of the vehicle now. Step out of the vehicle. Get on your knees. Get on your knees. Put your hands on top of your head.
I'm at work.
Put your hands together, you're good, you're clapping. Go ahead and sit up. 224, 1 detained.
I'm at work.
10-4, 1 detained.
Do you have any objection to me searching you right now, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any identification on you?
It's in my car.
Okay, I'm Officer Dufour, the Pensacola Police Department.
Yes, sir.
The reason I'm stopping you today is because your seatbelt was off. Okay? I gave you multiple chances to stop your vehicle. Alright?
Well, I was trying to get to a place that I felt comfortable.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Because I'm at work right now.
This is your vehicle?
Yes, sir. And I'm at work right now.
You're at work?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I got my badge on and everything.
Okay. Alright, for my safety and yours, I'm going to pat you down just to make sure you don't have any weapons on you, okay?
That's fine.
Go ahead and spread your feet apart.
That's my work phone.
Right here?
No, right here.
Okay, what's right here? Don't reach right there.
Oh.
Is it okay that I lift that up and see?
Yeah. Okay. That's my badge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, go ahead and take a seat.
Unit 224, 10-4.
10-4, take a seat.
Oh. Yeah, I was just stopping, waiting until I got to a place to where I feel comfortable. I'm at work right now. I'm getting ready to go see a client right now.
Who?
Me. I'm at work right now.
You're at work right now?
Yeah. I'm a counselor.
You're a counselor?
Yeah.
But who's your, do you have a client nearby or what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, before we ask any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask any questions and to have him with you during questioning. You cannot afford a lawyer. One will be appointed for you free of charge before any questioning if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you'll still have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to a lawyer. You understand your rights.
Miranda.
334.
Have you ever been Mirandized before?
No, I said it.
So you cool with talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have no ID on you right now?
Yeah, it's in my car.
It's in your car? Okay. Do you have
I got my work ID on me.
Do you have any objection to me searching your vehicle right now?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
Now, so far, the victim of this unlawful arrest has done everything correctly to put himself in a position to bring a civil rights lawsuit later on. On this channel, we teach safety first. The victim had a gun pointed at him, so he calmly followed all of the officer's instructions. Then, even in a traumatic situation, he remembers not to consent to a search of his vehicle. The driver says his license is in his wallet, which is still in the car. Then the officer does something really sneaky. He asks the victim, who is already handcuffed, if he can go in the car himself to get the driver's wallet. The driver smartly says no. You always verbally express that you do not consent to a search of your vehicle. That also means you never give an officer permission to enter your vehicle for any reason, even if he says it's just to get your wallet out of the front seat. If an officer wanted to plant evidence in your vehicle or lie and say he saw something illegal, this would be the perfect opportunity for him to do so. This is also why we always stress the importance of outfitting the inside of your car with a hidden 4-camera system.
for one, there's no smell of marijuana or alcohol.
I'd never mention any drugs.
Right.
Or
And number
like
two,
that.
I think the stop is based on. I don't even know why you stopping me right now.
I explained my stop to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, I object to the search. I mean, I'm at work. I was leaving Walgreens and I'm headed to see a client, do a session. I'm a
Okay.
counselor.
Why did you flee from me?
I didn't flee.
You never stopped.
I was
You
waiting
never
until I
stopped.
got to a place where I felt comfortable.
You never stopped.
So that's the only thing that I'm saying. I didn't. I'm literally at work right now. Like I got.
You could
my
have
work
stopped
on.
at any moment.
I got my work badge on me and everything.
Where's your work badge at? Is your name and everything on
Yeah,
that?
it's my name is on it.
Do you mind if I grab that off of you?
Yeah, you can unzip. Yeah, so I'm literally at work. Like I have no reason to flee. I'm literally at work.
You work for Baptist, man?
Yep.
Why are you doing this?
Doing what?
Fleeing from the police.
I didn't flee. I mean, I was just
fled
waiting.
from me.
I was waiting until
I let you up and I hit my sirens. I told you multiple times.
I was just waiting till I got
told you
to a
to pull
point
over.
where I felt comfortable. That's it. I mean, I'm literally in the middle of working. I have no reason to flee. Like I'm at work. Like I can call my supervisor right now and I'm on the clock.
Now I'm gonna pause here and explain something. The victim is doing everything right. He is remaining calm, and he is explaining that he was simply at work. The cop is trying to get him to admit that he was fleeing by bombarding him with the question, "Why did you flee?" The victim explains calmly that he was just waiting until he found a spot where he felt comfortable pulling over. Now this is a topic I want to focus on for a second. If you are in a dark or deserted area, there may be benefits to waiting until you approach a more well-lit or public place before pulling over. First of all, it has to be nearby. You cannot just drive as long as you want. That would be fleeing. A well-lit or public area means the cops' body cameras and your own cell phone camera footage will be clearer, and there may be CCTV security cameras nearby. There is also a greater potential for witnesses and passerby, which is good in case an officer becomes aggressive or unhinged. There is no official law that says anything about being able to keep driving until you are comfortable pulling over. Not all states are the same, but for the most part, the official law is that you have to pull over as soon as a cop gets behind you and turns his lights on. However, there is a concept courts sometimes recognize, basically called the spirit of the law. Even if the law doesn't say you can keep driving until you are comfortable pulling over, you will still be allowed to do so if you do it in a manner that is consistent with the spirit of the law. So what does this mean? Well, if cops get behind you and turn their lights on in a deserted area and you don't immediately feel comfortable pulling over, the first thing you do is you turn your hazards on and you slow down to let the cop know that you see them. As you are driving to a safe area, You never speed up. And this is the most important part. You call 911 on speakerphone or Bluetooth. Once you reach the 911 dispatcher, you give them your name, car make and model, and license plate number and location. Then you explain to the dispatcher that there is a cop behind you. You tell them that you are not fleeing and that you want to communicate to the officer that you are simply looking for a safe place to pull over. You also let them know that there are no drugs or weapons in the car. Then you ask them to communicate this to the officer behind you so that there isn't any misunderstanding.
This action prevents the officer from falsely claiming that you fled from a traffic stop. The call to 911 and the communication the dispatch then sends out to all units in the area also lets every nearby cop know that you are a law-abiding citizen. Finally, you have involved many parties now, and your 911 call is automatically recorded and can be played in court as evidence that you did not give the officer any probable cause to suspect that a crime was in progress. I mean, nobody actively committing a crime would take the extra step to call 911. This action increases the chances that you will be allowed on your way with just a traffic ticket. And even if it doesn't dissuade the cop from illegally detaining you, it still improves your chances of bringing a successful lawsuit later on.
Going to see a client, because that's what I do. I do community work. I'm a counselor.
What's your date of birth?
11/5/88. That's how come I knew I wasn't fleeing.
What's your middle name?
Levante. L-A-V-O-N-T-A-Y-A.
L-A-V-O?
N-T-A-Y-A. Yeah. I'm legit at work right now. Yeah.
That gives you no excuse to stop when I'm trying to pull you over. Not stop.
What I was saying is, I wasn't fleeing. I was just waiting till I got to
That's fleeing from law enforcement.
I did not increase my speed.
That is fleeing from law enforcement.
I did not increase my speed, officer.
That does not matter.
The only thing that I'm saying is this: I was not fleeing. I'm literally at work. I left
the moment that I initiated my lights and sirens and told you to stop, you're required to stop for law enforcement.
The only thing I'm saying, officer, is this: I did not flee. I was waiting till I got to a point where I felt comfortable to stop. That's the only thing. I'm literally at work. I just left
224 quarters
from Walgreens, and I'm headed to go see a client and do a therapy
1047 name and date of birth.
That's it. That's the only thing that I'm literally at work right now. So I had no reason.
Last of Black, common spelling. First of Taran, T-A-R-A-N. Middle initial L for Levantea. Date of birth 11/5/88.
Out of the roadway, cool. But to come this far and not stop.
The only thing I'm saying, officer, is that I have no reason to flee. I'm literally at work right now. Literally at work right now. I kid you not. I was actually headed back to the job. I work right around the corner at Lakeview and Baptist. I was literally finna head right back to work because I got to go see a client who's been Baker acted. That's it.
Okay.
Literally have no.
I need your license, your registration, your insurance. So I have permission to enter your vehicle and grab those items.
Can I get it?
No, sir. You're detained right now. You fled from law enforcement.
I didn't. I'm literally at
You
work.
fled from law enforcement. I'm not going to argue with you about that anymore.
Can you grab your license, registration, and proof of insurance?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Where is it at?
I got it in my front seat.
Just in your front seat?
No, I got my license in my wallet, and
Okay.
then I got my, the rest of it is in my glove department.
Okay.
I can grab it.
Can he go grab it? Can I go grab it?
No, ma'am.
Stay seated.
Okay.
I want to stop to point out that the victim acted intelligently under pressure here. He did not fall for any of the cops' tricks. They say they are trying to get inside his vehicle so that they can get his license and registration, but we don't know their true intentions. The cops know that, constitutionally, they can't go inside his vehicle unless the driver consents to it. The cops hope that by making it seem casual and not like a search, the victim will allow them to go get his license just to get out of his uncomfortable situation faster, or at least get free from the handcuffs. The victim knows that this is the cops' only chance to plant drugs or to conduct an illegal search, and therefore the victim does not give them permission, even just to go and get his wallet. As you will see, in the end, the cops eventually are forced to give in, unhandcuff the victim, and allow him to go get his license and registration out of the car himself. For all we know, that could have been the very thing that saved him from ending up in a situation where the cops planted drugs in his car and then placed him under arrest for possession. The brazenly illegal act of planting drugs in your car could potentially lead to a massive financial settlement against the police department. However, it's all for nothing and will most likely lead to prison if you cannot catch them doing it, if it's simply your word against theirs. That's why you never consent to the cop entering your vehicle for any purpose, especially if you do not have hidden cameras with adequate coverage of the entire interior of your car.
I mean, I'm legit at work. I wish I
Okay.
could call
We get it.
Chief
You're
Lighter
at
right
work.
now. Because, I mean,
224 hours.
224.
everything. Like, I literally have no reason.
Do we have any 10-8 canines around?
I'm at work. I literally
First to Lieutenant K9. Let me try the county. 72-10-4. That's 10-4.
We already know the cop is fishing for an arrest because he has called for a K9 unit over a seatbelt ticket, even though the driver has been cooperative and calm. The K9 unit never shows up, so we'll address this more in future videos. But almost every K9 unit called to a scene will lie and say that their dog signaled for drugs, even if the dog did not. Sometimes K9 units train their dogs to signal regardless, just so that they can do a search. K9 units don't want to feel that they were called out to a scene for no reason. Now this officer is doing a whole lot, just to find a way to arrest someone who annoyed him by not pulling over fast enough. View this moment as an example of why you should never underestimate the lengths that cops will go to get an arrest, rather than just admit they were mistaken or wrong.
I'm gonna close this so you can talk to her. Okay. But me personally. Okay. Hey, so just want to see your opinion on all this. So I let this guy up beside Addicts Court, and then he continued. We stopped up here on Bernard, but he continued. I hit my sirens multiple times, hit my lights. He continued to look at me from the his rearview mirror. I got on my PA system and said, "Driver, pull over." He still continued to go through, and then that's when he finally stopped over here near Morris Court and all of that. 137. So he said that he's working. He works for Baptist. He has some sort of a Baptist lanyard or ID, and he said he works for some sort of a psychologist or somebody. But besides that, he said that he just didn't feel comfortable pulling over at that time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. No, just a seatbelt. He's denying consent to search him and his vehicle. And no no 893 history that I've seen. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
His license? Yeah, it's good. Now, I have no clue what's in his car, and he won't let us retrieve his license, registration, or insurance. Like, I've got him detained right now. But, I mean, I guess we're going to just have to let him back in the car. And
Here the cop says, "I guess we're going to have to let him back in the car." And that is exactly true. That is why the driver was right to remain calm and tell them no when they asked if they could enter his vehicle.
do you think, would we at least be able to frisk his, like, the immediate area around him before we let him back in the car, just for our safety? Yes. Okay. Okay. All right, thank you. Bye. All right, so I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, all right? I'm not going to charge you with fleeing and eluding, all right? I get it that you might not feel comfortable pulling over in some area, right? When the police light you up, though, you got to stop, okay? If If you had just stopped, we wouldn't be where we're at right now.
The cop says, if you had just stopped, we wouldn't be where we are right now. Now, when cops say this, it's always a lie. It's always a lie. Cops who are looking to get an arrest will find an issue with your behavior, even if they need to make one up. That is why you have to stay calm and, like the victim in this case, remember your training even under pressure.
We could have had a friendly conversation. I do that all the time with my traffic stops, okay? What's gonna happen here, for my safety and the officers around us, because we don't know you, you don't know us, I'm going to frisk the immediate area around the driver's seat to verify that there's no weapons that you could harm any of us with, okay? From there, I'm going to release you from your handcuffs, and I'm going to put you back in your driver's seat, and then we will continue the traffic stop from there, okay? Okay. Do you have anything to say to me? No. Okay.
This is why at UAP, we recommend that you never have drugs in your car, even if you live in a state where medical or recreational marijuana is legal. We know that the cop is fishing for a drug arrest because he already tried to get a K-9 unit on the scene. The cop tells the victim he is going to frisk the driver's seat area for weapons. We know this is a lie. It is clear he is also hoping to find drugs. That's why he is moving the bags and papers around that way. Clearly there is no gun. He is looking for something else. So never travel with weed in the car ever. Just wait till you get home to smoke. If the cop had found anything, a small amount of weed or even a prescription pill bottle, at this moment, he would have started his BS all over again.
Careful, man. I'm gonna take this cuff off screen now, sorry. And same thing this here. Alright, so get back in the driver's seat. I'll put it back on you. And if I could have your license and registration insurance now. Thank you. Okay, put on your license. Alright, you got it, man. I'll take a telephone number for you. 850? 529, 4702.
Look, the situation that we just got put in, I hate being put in that situation. Had you just stopped, this would have been a different conversation.
Now at this point, the cop is only trying to cover his tracks. None of what he is saying is genuine. He acted unprofessionally and unlawfully towards a citizen, and he knows it. The victim was black, he was driving an old car, and he may have been in a poorer part of town. The cop was hoping to find someone with a criminal record and perhaps drugs in the car. Or he was just hoping to find someone ignorant of the law or uneducated enough that he could trick him into getting himself arrested. That is how cops prey on the most vulnerable in society. Thankfully, the victim here was neither of those things and knew how to conduct himself, so no arrest was made. Now the cop is just talking. This is the only point of the whole video where the driver starts making mistakes. Don't engage in any conversation with the cops after they have already unlawfully detained you. All you do now is let the cop speak and nod your head quietly until he allows you to go. If you feel a need to speak your piece, don't speak it to the cop. Wait until you retain a lawyer and file a lawsuit. Then speak your piece in front of the judge when you testify.
I don't know how often you've ever been pulled over. I don't know what kind of cops you've ever dealt with to make you feel uncomfortable.
PPD.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So look.
That's why I'm in meeting with Chief Tommy Leiter right now,
Really?
talking about different ways that we can address this. That's why I'm
Really?
talking to Lieutenant Stephen Bauer about issues just like this, because at the end of the day, like, I'm an up-and-coming leader in this community. I have no reason to defy law enforcement in any way. But what I do know is that, and this is law, I know that when a person feels uncomfortable when dealing with law enforcement, when you're driving, you have the right to continue on until you get to an area where you feel comfortable before the traffic stop begin. As long as you don't increase your speed, as long as you don't start to drive erratically in any way, you can continue to go.
Yes, sir.
That's the only thing I'm saying. I just was with Lieutenant Bauer Friday talking about this same thing.
That's why you're no longer in
understand?
handcuffs.
I mean,
But I'm telling you this now.
Get out with you, or
say what?
was he at work with you? Or?
I'm in meetings. Chief Tommy Light, I'm at meet. I come to the PPD station. I was just there last week with them in the meeting. Captain, all of them.
I mean, this whole thing's in body camera, so if you
that's
want
fine.
to make,
That's fine.
a complaint,
But
you're right. So
aside from all that stuff, man, I hate getting put in situations like this.
And I hate being bothered with officers. I don't
gotcha.
have no reason.
I got you.
You can go back and ask you can go back and ask your superiors. I have absolute no reason
to
be around here to do any of that.
Do you understand why I'm pulling you over?
You said you
seatbelt violation.
You said you pulled me over for a seatbelt violation.
That's
when you
correct.
approached me and pulled your taser out.
I drew
Right?
my firearm
Okay,
on
I'm sorry. When you drew the firearm on me,
Yes, sir.
I couldn't even get out the car because I had to unbutton my seat.
I gave you
understand.
time to do so.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I just don't understand that. You saying you pulled me over for a seatbelt violation?
There's hundreds of scenarios that would have gone this way that law enforcement officers have been killed in the line of duty.
At the end of the day, officer, if don't nobody understand law enforcement more, I do.
Okay.
I was raised in this community.
Okay.
I know I'm at tables, I'm at meetings talking about these very same issues. Okay?
Nothing the driver says here is helping him. He is name-dropping police officers he knows and lecturing the cops. Lecturing the cops is never productive. Lecturing police officers won't cure them of their stupidity or incompetence or racist intentions. Lecturing police only risks making you look less sympathetic to a jury. Also, if you know high-ranking police officers, don't reveal that to the cops who stopped you. Police are more likely to protect their own. And if you do actually have friends in the police department, don't even tell them about it until the lawsuit is already in progress.
So, at the end of the day, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I still feel how I feel.
I know.
You know?
But
And
doing what you do puts us in a tight bind.
like I said, you can go and ask Lieutenant Bauer, you can go ask any I don't put law enforcement in no bad spot to where they feel like their life is in danger or anything. But at the end of the day, I'm saying it on camera, I'm saying to anybody, at the end of the day, if law enforcement light me up, I'm going to continue to drive slow at a slow pace until I get to a place I feel comfortable getting out so the traffic stop can take place.
Okay.
So if I got to go to jail on that or stand before a judge or on anything, that's what I'm gonna do. I ain't got time to be around here running from law. I'm finna go see a client right now, do therapy. You think I got time to run from y'all for what? I'm legit. I got license. No. I got insurance. Everything.
Conduct your traffic stop.
Okay.
You two are going. You two are going.
Now, even though the driver was eventually allowed to leave, he was clearly racially profiled and should have been entitled to financial compensation based on this incident. However, this case did not result in the victim receiving any financial compensation in the form of a legal settlement. In fact, from the public information available on this case, I am pretty confident that the victim's claim was dismissed by the judge very quickly before the case even got close to trial. I will now explain why the case got dismissed and why the victim did almost everything right except his choice of lawyer and therefore did not bring a successful suit. Remember, I am not a lawyer, and you should always hire a lawyer if you need legal assistance. First, the victim, whose last name is Black, brought a lawsuit in federal court claiming the police violated the federal law, 42 U.S. Code Section 1983. Most of the time, when victims of police misconduct or unlawful arrest do bring lawsuits, they bring them on the basis that the cops have violated this particular law. Even simple laws are purposely written to be very complicated, and in a manner that makes them hard to understand.
42 U.S. Code Section 1983 reads, Every person who, under color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state or territory, or D.C., subjects or causes to be subjected any citizen of the U.S. or other person within the jurisdiction thereof to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law, suit in equity, or other proper proceeding for redress.
Like I said, laws are written in a manner that makes them hard to understand or confusing, but translated into easier language, this law simply states that if somebody, like a police officer, does something to you and claims to be acting on behalf of the law, and while doing that they violate your constitutional rights, you can sue them. This is a federal law, so you have to bring a police misconduct suit like this in a federal court. At the point where you are ready to bring a lawsuit, the lawyer you hire is the most important decision you will make. Now, there are lawyers all over America whose only real skill is convincing you that they have what it takes to win no matter what. They're really good at getting money out of black people who are desperately in need of legal assistance. They are terrible at actually winning money for black people. In essence, as a black person, almost 85% of lawyers you approach, unless you have a personal connection to them, will just be looking to get your money and deliver minimal or no results at all. This is especially true among criminal defense attorneys. Many criminal defense attorneys used to be low-paid prosecutors. They only made career switches to criminal defense law in order to cash in on the fact that young black people facing criminal charges are usually in situations so desperate it is easy to manipulate them into paying an unreasonably high retainer fee. These lawyers take extremely large fees from poor black people and then promise their clients outcomes that the lawyer already knows he isn't going to do the necessary work to bring to fruition. Mr. Black's lawsuit shows why hiring a competent lawyer is so important. This case was brought in federal court and therefore is subject to what are referred to as the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. The Rules of Federal Procedure are guidelines that lawyers have to follow when bringing a civil lawsuit. The first step of any lawsuit is for the lawyer to file a legal claim with the court and serve it upon the party being sued. A claim, in short, has to have three elements. 1. A short statement on why this court has jurisdiction. For example, if you are suing in Florida federal court, you say that you are suing the police for violating a federal law and that the incident happened in Florida. The second thing is a short statement explaining what the claim is, or in other words, why the plaintiff is suing. The third thing is the amount of financial compensation that you are demanding. For a skilled lawyer, this is the easiest step. However, incompetent lawyers often write the claim incorrectly when bringing a lawsuit, and case law and several Supreme Court rulings have definitively stated that a defendant, the person being sued, in this case the police, can get lawsuits against them immediately dismissed if the claim is filed incorrectly. Incompetent lawyers usually mess up element number 2, and this leads to their clients' claims being thrown out of court. It goes down like this. Element 2 requires that the person suing, aka their lawyer, has to state why they are in fact suing, but a practicing lawyer knows that it has to be phrased a certain way. Inexperienced lawyers often file claims that include what are called conclusory statements. Any claim that includes conclusory statements will be thrown out by the judge for failure to properly state a claim. Now, what is a conclusory statement? A conclusory statement simply means you were supposed to list all the facts that led you to bring the lawsuit, but instead of doing that, you listed all the conclusions that you have drawn from the facts, rather than just the facts themselves.
So in Mr. Black's case, a conclusory statement may have sounded like this. Mr. Black is suing the Pensacola Police Department because Officer Dufour racially profiled Mr. Black and illegally detained him in violation of Law 42 USC Section 1983.
This statement is called conclusory because it is written like an already factual statement. It is the thing your lawsuit attempts to prove using the facts, meaning you are trying to prove the officer violated 42 USC 1983 by showing what the officer did. But you cannot just say the officer violated this law. You have to, in your claim, simply list the things the officer did that you will later show violated that particular law. You have to say how the officer racially profiled you. You cannot just simply say that you were the victim of discrimination.
So, a non-conclusory claim might read more like,
when police flashed their lights at Mr. Black drove at a low speed to an area where he felt safe. When pulled over, Mr. Black exhibited no threatening behavior and followed all of Officer Dufour's commands. Officer Dufour then drew his weapon on Mr. Black and detained him for a minor traffic stop, in this case, failure to wear a seatbelt. Officer Dufour kept Mr. Black detained for a period of time longer than was necessary to carry out this traffic stop.
As you can see, none of those statements come out and say that Officer Dufour violated Mr. Black's constitutional rights. A legitimate claim, one that makes it past the first stage of a lawsuit, simply outlines what unconstitutional behavior occurred in a way that informs the judge that there is a genuine dispute to be had as to whether the officer did in fact violate the plaintiff's rights.
This aspect of filing a lawsuit is very nuanced, but it is the main reason police misconduct suits get thrown out of court before they even make it to the trial stage or before the cops are forced to settle with the victim. UAP's primary goal is to build a nationwide database of the most honest and competent civil rights lawyers in each state. This requires a lot of research and vetting. If you have sued the police before and were satisfied with your legal representation, please refer your attorney to us so that we can vet their office and potentially add them to our growing database. Our goal is to make it super easy and quick for Black people to find a trustworthy and skilled civil rights lawyer who will not rip them off no matter what state they live in.
Alright, there's all of your items back. So look, I'm citing you today for the seatbelt. It's a $116 fine. You have 30 days to take care of it. All of your options are highlighted and listed on the back, okay?
What I don't understand is how are you giving me a seatbelt ticket when you drew your firearm and ordered me to get out the car?
You did not have a seatbelt on when I initiated my lights and sirens. That's the purpose of the stop.
No.
If you have any objection to this,
Yeah,
you can exercise your second option and take this to court, okay?
All right.
You have every right to that.
All right.
Besides that, I have no other reason to talk to you any longer. You're free to leave.
Thank you for tuning in to another unlawful arrest prevention video. You can always reach out to us at uap@unlawfularrestprevention.org if you have an attorney to refer to us, or if you need help finding representation in your state, or if you would just like to submit a video for us to analyze. The more you simulate these interactions in your head, the better prepared you will be should a cop try to unlawfully arrest or detain you. Our organization not only hopes to prevent unlawful stops, searches, and arrests of Black people, but to provide guidance on how one should act in such situations in order to either get false charges dropped or to win a civil suit against the police.
We don't buddy up on no hits, we do them solo. Gals 3 gauge, make them lean like a cholo. Hit a whole convoy from me ocho ochos. Hunting down them devils like my niggas poachers. A few fought back and got left for the vultures. The rest scattered in all directions like roaches. They won't get far on foot, round them up the next morning. If they wanna live, they better get some cash from their employers. With them TRAKs, you already know the play. Work it out that they finna build.